Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm Jay, and this is the brand new 2017 Jaguar F-PACE. So I'm really excited to do this unboxing review today, and you're going to learn a lot about Jaguar's first ever crossover. But first, I want to thank Jaguar of Sacramento, which is part of the Nilo company, for letting me come on down and film today. So let's get started. Now, the F-PACE, it's been a long time coming for Jaguar. It's a luxury compact crossover that just went on sale in 2016. It's built on a very similar platform, the same platform actually, but modified platform as the Jaguar XE compact sports sedan. I recently did an unboxing review of that as well. But believe it or not, Jaguar is actually almost a decade late getting into the luxury compact crossover segment. There's a few reasons why. Mainly, it had to revamp its entire lineup. It launched the F-Type Roadster and Sports Coupe, as well as the XE, and it just took a little while to get to a crossover. But I really think it was worth the wait, and Jaguar is going to be rewarded with really good sales numbers. For an example, I looked it up. In 2015, Jaguar only sold around 15,000 units in the US. But if you look at another example, like the Lexus RX crossover, it is the F-Pace's competitor. Lexus sells about 100,000 of those annually. So the F-Pace means a lot to Jaguar to boost its sales, not only in the US, but also, in other parts of the world here. Let's look more at the exterior styling, and right away you can tell this is a Jaguar. From the rear taillights, they look almost the same as what you'll find on the F-Type, and I think that's really, really nice. The chief designer, Ian Callum, he handles all of Jaguar's cars today. He's just done a fantastic job here. You have the short front overhangs, and it's just a very athletic looking crossover, especially when you compare it to the other vehicles in its class, which I'll get to shortly as well. It comes with those nice 18-inch alloy wheels as well, and you can go up to 22-inch wheels on this car, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. But I think the 18-inchers, they suited just fine, and I really like the black exterior. And when you see the interior with the black and the tan, it's just an overall nice-looking vehicle, and really, no matter what color you pick, you really can't go wrong. And another interesting fact I think you'll like to know is that Jaguar is currently developing a fully electric version of the F-Pace, as well as the XE, and those are going to probably launch in the next few years. The reason being, one word, Tesla. Tesla has its new crossover, fully electric crossover, the Model X. You also have the Model S sedan, the upcoming Model 3 compact sedan, and Jaguar is just not about to let Tesla win in the electric vehicle department, and I'm personally really looking forward to seeing a fully electric Jaguar, especially the F-Pace here. So this particular F-Pace, this is actually the base model. You have 4 trims: the base, premium, prestige, and the R Sport. But what's cool is that even in the base model, you get a really, really good engine. Now, this is the same 3-liter supercharged V6 with 340 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque that you'll find in the XE. And just launching right now is a new 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine with, it only has 180 horsepower but 318 pound-feet of torque. And the top of the line engine for the F-Pace is, once again, it's a 3-liter supercharged V6, same as this one, but it has 380 horsepower. And in the US, the only transmission you can get is an 8-speed automatic with a manual shifting mode. Again, it's the same unit found in the XE. But what's really cool is that, unlike some competitors, like, for example, the Porsche Macan, which has gone to, turbocharged gasoline engines, Jaguar is still sticking with supercharged, and that's really cool. especially when you love performance and the way this engine sounds. If you've heard the exhaust notes from anything from the F-Type to the XE and even the larger XF, you know a Jaguar, it just sounds really, really good. So let's get a better look at the interior here. So as I said, like in the XE review as well as my unboxing reviews of the F-Type R Coupe and Roadster, Jaguar's interiors have come a long way over the past, let's say, 20 years. They're no longer cheap. Like even though they had real wood back in the day, sometimes I know in the 1980s era that the wood paneling even fell off the inside of the doors. That's very much no longer the case. And the F-PACE, like any other crossover in its segment, it's a 2-row crossover. Yeah, it seats up to 5. There is no third row. If you are looking for a third or 3-row crossover, I really recommend the Mazda CX-9. I've done a review of that, a fantastic crossover as well. So I encourage you to check that out too. So now we're getting a better look at this interior. As you saw, it has that nice black and tan leather seats. It's actually a very roomy interior. The rear seat easily accommodates adults more than 6 feet tall. Rear leg room, foot space, and even with the standard panoramic sunroof, you get really good headroom as well. And full props to Jaguar for making that happen, because compact crossovers, they're not all about space. Designers sacrifice space in order for them to look good, but I think Jaguar has done a perfect job of giving the F-PACE a really good shape and really nice interior dimensions. And overall, this dashboard design, it's very straightforward, very similar to what you see in the XE, and I'm not at all complaining. What I do have kind of a complaint about is the infotainment system. So this is the standard unit. It's an 8-inch touchscreen, and it's exactly the same one that's found in the XE, as well as lower trim level Range Rovers. And it's an older system. It's out of date. I think it's very slow for inputs, especially when you are typing in addresses and stuff like that. Just entering the letters, it's kind of slow. Fortunately, Jaguar is offering a brand new infotainment system in the F-PACE, but you're gonna have to pay for it. And I'm not a big fan of that. It comes in, I believe, the luxury package, where which costs alone about $4,000. You get a bunch of other things, including the new system, but I'm not really so sure that it's worth a whole $4,000 to get. I would have liked to have seen Jaguar equip even its base models with an improved system, considering the competition has gotten much better as well here. And even though this particular F-Type F-PACE is the base model, it does come with some optional features, such as an infotainment Sirius XM satellite radio for $350, a rear view camera that costs $400, the navigation package, that's $500. It's a nav system, with an SD card based mapping, various in-control apps, a leather wrapped and heated steering wheel. And then there's also the cold climate package. That's a heated front windshield and heated washer jets, heated front and rear seats as well. And here you have the dual zone climate control, which is one of those things that I think is pretty standard on any crossover in the luxury segment. So this is really cool. I love this thing about Jaguar. It's a dial that controls actually the gears that you're in. And whenever you turn on the car, the dial raises, and when you turn it off, it lowers. Same thing as, again, in the XE, but I think it's a really cool kind of trademark thing that Jaguar is doing. And speaking of transmissions, I think I forgot to mention the F-PACE is all-wheel drive only in the US. And I think that was a smart move on Jaguar's part. It is a rear-wheel drive platform, but all-wheel drive, especially in a crossover, a lot of people are going for that because it gives them all-weather capabilities. But the question is, can the F-PACE go off-road? Kind of, but that's, again, only because of its all-wheel drive. But off-roading is not what the F-PACE is meant for. If you want to go off-roading, you really should go for a Range Rover. And Jaguar's really smart here because Jaguar Land Rover is one company, and they were very careful not to let the F-PACE get into Range Rover and Land Rover territory. That's why it's much more performance-oriented. And even though it's all-wheel drive, it does have a rear-wheel drive bias. Again, it's good for people who love to drive. And this is really cool too. As you can see, the panoramic sunroof, that's standard. And I think it should be standard on a car that comes into this price bracket here. And some other optional features you get is a Meridian 380-watt sound system with 11 speakers, halogen front headlights with daytime running lights, that panoramic sunroof you just saw, a power tailgate, and rear folding 40/20 by 40 split rear seats. You have 10-way power front seats with 8-way electric movement. And, again, this is just the base model. And it's really cool that Jaguar has packed all this into a car that, well, when I get to the pricing, it's pretty reasonable. But the options really do add up fast. For an example, you can get 22-inch turbine 9-spoke wheels on the F-PACE, but they're going to cost $4,000. There's also the upgraded technology package. That costs over $3,000. It adds that new 10.2-inch touchscreen, in-control Touch Pro system with nav. It also has a 12.3-inch instrument display and an improved sound system, Wi-Fi. There's also a luxury interior package for $2,200. That'll give you a 4-zone climate control, configurable interior mood lighting even, as well as a lockable cooled glove box. Kind of a neat feature. And for $3,200, you can even get the driver assistance package. That includes surround camera system, park assist, 360-degree parking aid, adaptive cruise control, traffic sign recognition even, as well as an adaptive speed limiter. And speaking of speed, what's the performance like? Well, with this 340 horsepower V6, you're going to go to, let me check my notes here. Yes, 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds, and there's an electronically controlled top speed of 155 miles per hour. And like I said before, the rear seat space, it's very roomy. It's quite comfortable. With the sole exception of the middle passenger, the problem is they are going to have the drive shaft right in front of them on the floor, and it's just going to hinder their leg room. But two full-size adults, over 6 feet tall, will be very comfortable in the back seat for long road trips. And speaking of a long road trip, what's the fuel economy like for a supercharged V6? Well, you're going to get 18 miles per gallon in the city, 23 miles per gallon on the highway, and a combined 20 miles per gallon. As far as cargo space, it's actually really good. It's 34 cubic feet. I know that doesn't mean much to you, but to put that into some perspective, that's nearly twice that of a Porsche Macan. Again, Jaguar has done a really good job of balancing out really sleek and athletic exterior design with very good interior dimensions and space, and that's not easy to do. Now you see those the way the seats fold flat here. You can obviously increase cargo space by a lot. But the way, the middle one, the 40 by 20 by 40 goes down, why would you only want to fold down the middle seat? Well, say if you have a pair of skis. and you just want them to go right in the middle without them sliding to one side or the other, that's why. So let's talk pricing. Now, the 2-liter diesel that's just coming to market right now, F-PACE, that starts at about $41,000. And a fully loaded F-PACE S, that's with the upgraded 380 horsepower V6, that will come to nearly $78,000. Now, this car right here, the 340 horsepower supercharged V6, starts at about $43,000 with the added features that I mentioned, along with destination handling. This F-PACE comes to a grand total of $45,535. And I think that's a really, really good price. Because let's talk more about that competition. You have the Porsche Macan, the Audi Q5, BMW X3, Mercedes-Benz GLC, Cadillac XT5, and like I mentioned earlier in this review, the Lexus RX. Now, all of those start at either the high $30,000 or the mid $40,000 range, and the F-PACE is right there in the middle of it. And they can all go to easily the $60,000 range. In fact, the Porsche Macan, when you go for the turbo version, that can cost over $80,000. So, that's right about where the F-PACE tops off at as well. And overall, it's just a very good looking vehicle. I would like to be able to come back and check out one of the fully loaded, almost $80,000 F-PACEs as well, just to give a really good comparison to that. So I'm out of time for today. Everyone, thanks for watching. If you have any more questions for me, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. Any other suggestions for future cars you'd like to see me do an unboxing review of, also leave those suggestions in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to the CarBuzz YouTube channel that you're watching right now. And be sure to check out the full review of the 27 Jaguar F-PACE at carbuzz.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.